Hey, hi. Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Patriot Radio News Hour. This show is brought to you by the Patriot Trading Group. Legal, lawful, constitutional tender is our game. 1-800-951-0592 is how you can get some via the Alexander Graham Bell way. Or you can go the Al Gore way and go to allamericangold.com. Al invented that to allow you to click buy now on the website. You can do that. No salesman will call. You can do anything you want. I mean, you can while away the hours there in the middle of the night, and there's news to comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. There's product. There's pictures. It's just a warm and fuzzy place to hang out. allamericangold.com, 24/7, 365. I'm Eric Cedarstrom. Tuesday and Thursday, Hamburger Helper helping Joe Jaquint, the CEO and vice president of this great company that's been around, in our third decade here. We had this idea that, hey, maybe people might want to actually buy coins and put them away. And turns out people did. Joe, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty well. Good shout out there to Al. It was really nice of him to invent the internet.
Yeah, Al. You don't hear much of him. Biden is the only liberal you're hearing the most about. Now they're moving forward with the impeachment inquiry, which is, well, I don't know. I think, get ready. I told you what my thoughts are on it. If they push it too far or if it goes, I think the normally quiet conservatives, the real conservatives, the how many million? 66 million?
Give or take.
The 66 million who voted for this president may get a little upset.
There's 67 million people that speak a foreign language at their house in this country, and there's about 66 million conservatives. So.
Yeah. And you're witnessing the last bastion of America. Some guy just trying to put the genie back in the bottle. I have a 1960 F100, my green and white pickup. Okay, beautiful old truck. We take it to car shows, and I never noticed it. I've had the truck over a year, and I was washing it because the weather's finally cooled down. Everything's opposite. You people in the rest of the country are putting away your hot rods and your collectibles and getting ready to, put everything away for the snow coming. Denver has snow now. Did you know that?
Big time snow. It's been snowing there since Sunday.
Here, you dust everything off that was laying around all summer. You get it, because now you can use it. It's all backwards.
That's really what you do. You dust it off.
Dust it all off. So, but it was interesting, this truck, you can run the numbers on old vehicles. Some of them, not all of them, but most. This truck was built New Year's Eve, 1959. So, December 30th, it's a 1960. December 31st, on a Thursday, it was built. Who knows? Obviously they must have done a good job.
I would have preferred a truck like on January 3rd or 4th.
I don't know.
Or maybe somewhere before Christmas. I mean, New Year's Eve, they're probably rushing to get it done.
That's what you would figure. But lo and behold, here we are.
It's still here,
50 years later, the truck's like brand new. So obviously someone took great care of it. But it was built in San Jose, California, New Year's Eve. Which you think about, this is what Trump's trying to do. Now, on the side of it has the wraparound windshield, and on the side is this little tiny sticker. And I never noticed it till Saturday, and I looked at it, and I'm like, it's all worn out.
Like, what is
this little sticker? It's about the size of a $50. And if you look at it, it says General Electric Iron Plant, Ontario. Employee
California.
Parking number.
Oh, really? So it's an employee.
Yep. So it's an employee parking sticker. It has a number.
No wonder why it's still running.
Right. Has a number. And I thought, well, and at first I thought Ontario, Canada,
right.
iron plant, something. I had to look it up. Yeah, lo and behold. Flat irons, that, women used to use. I know I'm probably going to get in trouble. Women.
Not that kind of iron.
Yeah, women. Yeah, it's a flat iron plant that women, that's what they made. They made irons to iron
they
clothes.
Really did.
They really did. It has a picture of the little iron on it. And you have to look close because the whole thing's the size of a $50. I'm like, wow, that's, if you were going to park in Ontario, California and work for General Electric and go build flat irons, and the plant was there 30 years plus. closed in the early 80s.
Hecho in China.
But you think about that. So here's an American-made truck built in San Jose. You're in California. Okay, and you get a job. You're building irons in California. Flat irons. Again, if you don't know what they are, that's a high-tech piece. You've heard of E this and I that. This is iron. It's an iron, and we built them here in GE. So I mean, in California. Now this was America. Today, California is its own disaster movie.
Wow.
So here you got everything burning. And again, make no mistake about it. The major problem with California that's fueling these fires is the environmentalists. They stopped all the logging. You couldn't touch anything. Even if you got bushes and weeds growing.
You can't even mow the grass in places.
So what happens in California happens to us. Well, Scottsdale has that. They have NAOS, Natural Area Open Space. Okay, now the weeds, they've got this strain of weeds that somebody brought with them from Chicago or whatever, and they're just horrible, and they just took over last year. And then, of course, the minute it gets to 1,000 degrees, they die. Everything turns brown. And, if, like me, I have an acre. I had my son-in-law, Pinkerton Pool and Landscaping, just mow them flat, weed them and get them gone. And all the Scottsdale people on your lot you can, but anything in between your houses you can't. So a little spark, guess what? They were burning all summer. Fire department very busy. Well, multiply that times California, because that's what's happening over there. Patriot Radio News Hour. The blind leads the stupid, rocking and firing. Yeah, baby, stay with it. October 29th, 2019, in the year of our Lord. Halloween's in a couple of days, but Joe and I already have our masks on. We're getting
Mine's
inside.
permanent.
Joe was telling me during the break, there's a high school here in Scottsdale where his children attend, and they've got the statue out front.
Beautiful Virgin Mary, the statue of the Virgin Mary.
Catholic school, obviously.
Right, you got a bench there. I mean, just beautiful.
Beautiful.
Right on the corner there in North Scottsdale, and there's all of this nasty-looking, what I call weeds, i.e. natural desert landscape, surrounding this statue. And I said to my wife when our oldest son first started going there, I go, what is wrong with these people? Don't they see this? Nobody will go out there and weed this. This could be such a nice area. We should put some flowers and make this a nice little
it's
area.
the icon of the school. It's the first thing you see.
And I was, and I volunteer for absolutely nothing. And I'm like, right. You know what? I'm just going to do it.
It's such an eyesore.
Right? It's
got to go weed it.
Right. Made me so every day I have to drive past it. And one of the parents was like, oh, no, don't do that. We've got a rule. We've got to have X percentage of the campus needs to be this natural desert.
NAOS, Natural Area Open Space.
And we built this brand new football stadium. And inside with the track and all that, I mean, it's beautiful. Inside of the stadium itself, the outside of the track, there's like 2 or 3 sections where there's like 10 to 12 feet by 6 feet of this horrible
weeds.
Right. And I'm just like, and I already knew it. I'm like, don't tell me. And they're like, yep.
Can't touch it.
Can't touch it.
Can't weed it.
Can't do a thing to it.
Can burn it. This is the same thing in California. This is the Pacific Northwest, especially the small logging towns. They're like, you can log it or watch it burn. You know what? They watch it burn.
So. Watch it burn. All of, like you said, all of the, spotted owl and all of these things. But also in the utilities, the power is being shut off to 2.5 million people. And, of course, it hasn't stopped the fires.
That's a new pickup line in California. Guys go to gals, hey, want to come to my house? I have electricity. You can curl your hair.
You want to be the most popular guy in your neighborhood? Yeah. Actually have the batteries that go with the installation of all of the rooftop solar, because without that, most people, that wasn't part of the deal. So the solar power does them no good.
Yeah. solar. Speaking of solar, especially people in Arizona that have it, in the monsoons, if you get hit by lightning, it will take out your solar. It takes out your load controllers, takes out everything. So you need to put this product in, this inline. It's called an EMP Shield. It regulates the electricity flow into it. And if you're listening in Colorado, you hear the commercials, obviously. But in Phoenix, if you don't have any, and these guys are amazing. They do satellite services. They do 3-phase protection, solar, RVs, homes. I mean, it's just they got something. Vehicles, if your car gets hit, if an electromagnetic pulse, not just lightning, but Trump signed the executive order a year ago that they're actually now have almost like Homeland Security.
Like an EMP task force.
EMP task force, because let's face it, if the computers go off, and you see this, and if you're
nobody's going to know what to do.
Oh God.
I mean, are you kidding me? The babysitter won't go on anymore, right? I mean, it'll be pandemonium.
I'm just as guilty. I mean, and I didn't think so. That, when we go up to our ranch, it has no cell phone service. Okay, if you want cell phone service, you got to drive about a mile or so to get up a little bit higher. So you don't get cell phone. And if you want television, there's no TV, there's no television antennas, forget it. So you have to get satellite. Well, satellite just won't turn it on and off, okay? You call Hughes, yeah, can I have satellite? We're up there for 3 weeks. For 3 weeks, they're like, sure, but it's going to be a 1-year contract. So you don't turn it on.
Right, whether you're there or not.
Okay, so there you don't get the satellite television or the satellite internet. So there you are in your house with no cell phone, no computer, and no television. And you would think that a guy like me would be able to just not a problem. I could do it. It's only for a few weeks. I got to tell you. Tough. Man, after a day or two, you're like, wow. No texts, I just want to see what's going on. What are the markets doing? You don't realize. I mean, and I'm guilty. I'm surprised. My wife, she's like, I don't care. I took a picture of her iPhone. It says your phone needs to be updated, and to do this, you have to get where there's phone service, and you haven't been updated in 3 weeks. She didn't even care. She didn't even turn it on. Me? Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. So anyway, we sponsor EMP Shield. We're one of their EMPShield.com, one of their affiliate advertisers. They're having a sale. You see that? So,
well, you know what? When they have a sale, then our promo code makes it even a better
sale. So apparently, 3 days only. Save $100 when you buy 2 or more of the EMP Shields. And you can go to EMPShield.com and enter promo code KHNC.
Right. If you enter our call letters to our station in Colorado, there's you know where we're talking about. There's the promo code box. Every shopping cart has it in that promo code box. Just type the letters KHNC, and you get an additional $50 off per item.
And the people that run the company are just wonderful.
Made in America, all that stuff.
Right in the Midwest, just great people. EMPShield.com, especially if you have solar, not anything else. So, I mean, it didn't take me long to figure out that just up there at the ranch, without any services or anything, you can only watch so many movies. You got a VCR or DVD player, whatever you call it. Thank God for that. But you don't realize how hooked you are and how easy it would be to just remove all of this. I mean, all this I've done is just gone up to a ranch. We're right on the highway, and you still don't have any communications. If they shut that off, I mean, bang, they pop one of those, it's done. It's done. Nothing's going to run. No cars, no computers, no cell phones, no communication.
No going to the store to buy water or food. None of the stores where the power's out. In the cities in California where the power's out, all the stores are closed.
You would think that this would be mandatory. They would make it law that you have to have this. So, and they may do it. You need to have these protection devices in place, and they're cheap. Cheap insurance. EMP Shield. I didn't want to do a commercial. It wasn't what that was about. It was just, I was just thinking about it all because I'm looking at California. Everything's on fire. On top of it all, they get an earthquake last night. So not only is it burning, but it's shaking. The whole thing's a disaster movie. And this morning we get up and I have no water. So my well's out. Here's another commercial. Beeman's Well Service. Dusty Beeman, great kid, does a great job. But the problem is, our well, you people, especially you ranchers listening up in Wyoming, we all have wells, and our well is 1,000 feet deep.
Way down there.
1,000 feet they dug it, and then they backed it up. They hit water at like 700, and they backed it up. We're like at 850 feet is how far down this electric pump is. Now, the well's 19 years old, and the pump went out again. Not the one up top, but the one down. Big, long, all that 1,000 feet of wire running down there to these big stainless steel pumps. They're about, they're a tube, probably about 6-inch, maybe 8-inch wide pump, stainless steel, and they're about 3 feet long. And they're heavy. And that's what sits down in that hole. Well, Lori, my wife, keeps track of everything. If you knew my wife, Joe knows her, Wendy, everything, every receipt. She has, the receipt.
Forget about the elephant, right? Just ask Lori what happened in 1976, and she'll tell you.
She'll tell you. She'll find it. She, I think, probably has receipts from when she was a babysitter in high school, okay? She has all that. I call her.
I'm only laughing because I know.
It's true. I call her my Swiss Army wife. I mean, she'll produce it. So she, of course, keeps a active file on the well. And what's interesting is, here we're 19 years. The first pumps, we went through 2 pumps in 16 years. So 8 years for 2 pumps. This one only went 3. It's under warranty by Beeman's. It has a 5-year warranty. But, you're just knowing that it's just the Chinese. They got me. They got me again. Look, I'm unshowered because of the damn Chinese this morning. They just make crap, and we have to live with it. So, I don't know. I hope they figure it out. But Beeman's was out there first thing this morning. They're going to take care of it. So they say. And if you're not sleeping good at night, this is not going to help either. Here's one for you. 41% of the world's population is under what age?
41% of the world's population.
This is a big group. Think about that.
And this is the world?
The world.
All right, so it's going to be younger.
Not here in America.
Right, it's going to be younger then. So I'm going to say 18?
God, good call. 24.
24.
So,
okay.
24 years and under comprise 40% of the world. Now, here in America, that demographic is not the same, obviously, because the only propagation, I guess. The only people that are actually having children are the Hispanics. They either have them here or they bring them with them. That's our growth here in America. So, but the problem is the rest of the world, and you're witnessing the lack of opportunity or the lack of drive that they actually want to go out and make a living. I can't really tell you what it is. Either it's not there or they don't want it. Here in America, most people believe they don't want it. You see, marriages are at an all-time low. And they're counting that and they have to count same-sex marriages. So how bad is the heterosexual marriages?
We're throwing that in. You used to not be able to do that before.
Right, and I saw that on the news, and the gals going, and it's the women going, they can't find suitable husbands. The women get what you deserve. I mean, it all started, the great sexual revolution, and then you can have it all, and the Helen Gurley Brown, and then everybody's got to be equal, and they're not staying home, and now they went to work, they took over everything, and all the men go, okay.
They're sitting in their parents' basement playing video games.
Let me know how you're doing. What time you want to pick me up for dinner? It's just the natural attrition and the wussification of the American male. I mean,
oh boy, that's in full effect.
Yeah, think about it. Think how crazy everything is. You think things are crazy when you look at them. You look at the Ocasio-Cortez, the new Green Deal, the platforms of free everything, give everything away. How about Harvard They're Harvard Crimson. I mean, I know the Ivy Leagues are looking at your son play football. The Harvard Crimson, which is their newspaper, they pride themselves. These are tomorrow's journalists. Where do you think the deep state journalism comes from? They graduate from Harvard.
I'll be really upset if my kid went to Harvard and came out with a journalism degree.
Yeah, full liberal. So they were saying we don't want ICE on campus. That there's a huge protest. So they did a report on it. They wrote the newspaper, college newspaper, going, yeah, they don't want them. They don't want him to come lecture. They don't want anyone from the ICE. ICE is a horrible, organization.
Anything that's conservative.
Right. Immigration. Right. They don't want it.
Anything.
So get this. So not only do they don't want to hear it, so the reporter at the Crimson tried to contact ICE, for comment. What do you think of the fact that Harvard doesn't want you and they're not going to allow you to come speak? The students went crazy. You're not even allowed to call them. That's what they were most mad about. Don't even ask them for a comment.
You asked them for a comment?
Right. That legitimizes their organization. You get to thinking about it. This is what's coming, ladies and gentlemen.
May even be communism.
Yeah. Might go, well, socialism is the precursor to communism. So. All right, everybody. Just relax. We'll be back.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, a daily broadcast from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, a national volunteer organization founded by Phyllis Schlafly and continuing to uphold her legacy by honoring family values, opposing radical feminism, and representing a conservative perspective in our nation's capital. Now, the president of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, Ed Martin.
It's no secret that the left wing in America has been getting further left and more violent all the time. From the Antifa mobs and beatings in the streets of Portland to the blacklisting of businesses and individuals, the radical Marxist left will stop at nothing. It should be abundantly clear by now that the new left in America doesn't just want to be in charge. They want anyone who disagrees with them to be silenced, shamed, and cast out of society. In Pennsylvania, a group identified as Boycott MAGA is attempting to compile a list of businesses that are owned by Trump supporters and donors. Local Republicans are pointing out that this isn't simply a boycott list, but a website that goes into great detail on essentially ridding your community of Trump supporters. The Boycott MAGA website gives tips on how specifically to drive out businesses owned by Trump supporters. They are even attempting to compile a map of individual donors and where they live. Why? So people can know who to shun and remove from society. In California, big-name Hollywood liberals have caught flack for saying essentially the same thing. Actress Deborah Messing demanded a blacklist of all supporters of President Donald Trump in Beverly Hills. In response to a Beverly Hills Trump fundraiser, she tweeted, quote, "Please print a list of all attendees, please. The public has a right to know," end quote. Messing immediately took criticism over her comments, but she doubled down on them. Voices from both sides of the aisle condemn this blacklist idea, and rightly so. For people like Messing and the Pennsylvania group, it's obvious they don't want to win people over or win arguments in elections. Rather, they want those who disagree to not have a voice, not have a place, not even exist. This isn't isolated either. The hard truth is that the radical Marxist left wing doesn't believe that our constitutional rights are absolute. Free speech, the right to self-defense, all of these things are subjective and fluid to be determined by them. Make no mistake, the left is out for public hit lists of Trump supporters. This is not your grandfather's Democratic Party.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. What's the best way to rekindle the spirit of Phyllis Schlafly and the grassroots movement she energized? In this digital age, patriots and pro-family Americans can find insight and inspiration on our website, phyllisschlafly.com. Then share your own heart and mind on social media. So join us at phyllisschlafly.com and every weekday for the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
You're listening to the Patriot Radio News Hour. It's a beautiful Tuesday in the Valley of the Sun, and I hope this finds you well no matter where you are. What are the markets doing? I mean, look, they crashing over the Trump impeachment? Or?
No, they're doing nothing. Dow, it's actually mixed. Dow's up 20, Nasdaq's down 20. Gold's just sitting there waiting. We got the Fed is meeting today. Tomorrow is the big announcement. Before that, tomorrow morning, we'll get third quarter GDP, at least the first quote-unquote estimate. And then tomorrow afternoon, everybody's expecting another rate cut out of the Federal Reserve.
Well, today is the 90th anniversary of Black Tuesday, where kicked off the Great Depression.
Oh.
The stock market crash in 1929. Can you imagine that? 90. My dad was born December 1929, so he's not with us, but child of the Great Depression. People of the Great Depression, you know, if you really knew them or got to know them, that they kept everything, you know. They valued money. I mean, it was rough.
You know, it's funny you bring that up because a lot of people are saying that we're in this a similar time period from there, talking about where the financial crisis, kind of like the 29 crash. A lot of economists out there thinking, hey, you know, back in before World War II, the Federal Reserve promised everybody they had fixed everything, and of course we went right back into a recession, and really the only way we really got out of it, and probably was the reason why we don't have sound money today, was because of World War II. But this morning, I was just curious, because I'm watching Wall Street, and I'm seeing all these earnings come in, and I know a lot more than the average guy. If you're just watching CNBC or Fox in the morning, that's the only place you're getting your, what I'll call your stock market news. You're an absolute fool, and you know nothing. If you actually go out and research, you'll understand. Right now, earnings are down about 3% from last quarter, down 3%. Yet the stock market, you know, S&P anyway, hit an all-time high yesterday. So I was just curious. I wanted to see where the P/E ratios were. The Dow Jones right now is at 20 times earning. Of course, we all know historically the Dow Jones should be somewhere between 8 and 10 at 20. The Dow Jones transports are only at 18. The Dow Jones utilities, you know, California's on fire. The utility can't turn the power on. 27 times earnings. The Russell's at 42 times earnings. The Nasdaq's at 26 times earnings. The S&P, which just hit the new quote-unquote all-time high, 24 times earnings.
Well, we're setting this up for third world country style, not the Great Depression, but hyperinflation is the next stage. And little by little, we've seen it on a slow basis, but like Argentina, look at what they're going through. The liberals finally won over there again. So, but what they're doing, and I don't think really anyone's paying attention except Joe. He's the only one I've heard mention talking about the QE. And the QE, ladies and gentlemen, is something, if you go back to Harry Figge's book, Bankruptcy 1995, and reread it again, the hockey stick of debt, which he was off by a decade or so, but it's happening. And if you look at that, if you don't know what that is, hold your finger up, your hand up, and make the loser sign, you know, the L. So you got your thumb.
Put it right on your forehead.
Yeah, you know, just hold it out in front. Well, you can do that too if you want. So you hold out, you got your thumb pointing out, and your index finger pointing up. Okay, now where your thumb is just running along, that's the United States debt chart. You know, and for the first 200 years.
From about 1776 to 1971.
Yeah,
that's what it would look like.
You like tilt the thumb down just a little.
Right,
okay, so the debt's gradually going up until you get to about 1995, which is right about. And the rest of that chart is just where it's going straight up. That indicates a chart. So
I'll help you a little. So when I was doing this PE ratio, I found a chart in 1980. The national debt versus the GDP of the country was at about 30%. 30%. And that was in 1980. Today, right, we're at, 108%, debt to GDP. So you can kind of see how much debt we've added just since the 80s. It's an incredible amount.
Kaboom. Just an explosion. So it took 200 years to go $1 trillion. Now that's 1 year, right?
Yeah, every year.
Every year now.
And it's actually more than that. They only tell you $1 trillion.
No, they lied. I love it because they just
$984 billion.
Yeah, they just released the number. Whatever it is, do not add that $15 billion on.
Don't do it.
Roll that over somehow.
Well, you know what's so funny?
Within
a week of the fiscal year ending, the debt jumped another couple $100 billion.
Yeah, I know.
Real quick. So we're now $70 billion away from $23 trillion. So we'll hit $23 trillion before the end of November.
Say that again.
Yeah, we'll hit $23 trillion before the end of November.
I didn't know it was that.
Yeah. That was quick.
Is it really that high? 23? We just hit
23.
20 when they hit 20. Like
right. Trump
a month ago.
Yeah, Trump was just got inaugurated. When
right.
A month after inauguration, it hit 20.
Well, now there's so much debt out there that they have to monetize it. They got to give the banks money to buy the debt as it matures.
Let me tell you all the new
disaster.
things. It's happened so quickly. Now every day, Monday through Friday, the Fed will loan the banks $120 billion a day. This was the old $75 billion a day. It's now $120.
But tell them what they do with the money. That's I don't think what most people don't understand what the money's for.
Well, the banks don't have any liquidity. Right? You know, as I tell you, if you ever hear my commercials about when you put your money into the bank, you don't own the money anymore. Right? And it makes sense when you really think about it logically. Could the bank loan out money that wasn't theirs? Of course not. Nobody would. You can't loan out somebody else's money. So legally, they own the money. They get to legally loan it out. And that's what the banks do. And they keep this little bit. They got to keep a little bit aside, for reserves. That's not enough to meet the payroll obligations of all the people that bank there. That's not enough because all these people got to pay their mortgage, they got to pay their car payments, their health care. They don't have enough money. So what they do have, they ever heard the expression cash poor? Hey, I'm a wealthy guy. I'm just cash poor right now. All my money's tied up in real estate and this and that, but I'm wealthy. Don't worry about it. That's the banks today. All of their money is tied up in debt. And so they need to, in order to have enough liquidity for everyone for businesses to make their payroll, for you to be able to pay your mortgage, they have to have somebody buy it from them. And nobody, it used to be the banks would buy it from each other. They stopped doing that because no banks have enough capital. So now the central bank is the one doing it.
Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it? I mean, it's definitely Argentina-style finance.
$700 billion a week.
Bad banks buying bad debt. What could possibly go wrong? All right. You're listening to Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back. Support the advertisers. They work hard. I'm in a lot of trouble here. I got a call this morning from a very official source that said my Social Security number has been suspended. Some guy with an Indian accent apparently works for the IRS, and I said, "You're the nicest guy I ever met. Thank you so much." I'm not paying nothing this year.
You made my day.
I know. You don't understand, sir.
No, I think I do.
You did me a favor. I don't have a Social Security number. 1-800-951-0592. You're listening to the Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and I were talking during the break about this bond debacle and the interest rates. Now, they're going to lower interest rates for a third time with Wall Street setting record highs. Does any of this make any sense to you to get to the race to the bottom? Now they're talking about maybe crashing the dollar instead. You see that this morning? Instead of lowering rates, maybe they can weaken the dollar. I don't know how you sell the dollar on the...
Well, I think that's eventually going to happen, where our Treasury is going to have to... they get mad. We get mad at China and Europe, Japan. They all do it. They all deliberately can make their currency...
Now, you know why? See, people at home, you're not getting it. So now your currency, your goods are cheaper, so you can tip the trade deficit into your favor. So, they all try to out-depreciate each other, especially, when it gets to the Chinese yuan. So, if Japan and China are making the same radio, and they can weaken up their currency and make the dollar stronger against that, where all right, well, good, we get more radios for our dollar.
You buy it from us, you'll get 10 more radios.
Right, because
than
our
if you
currency.
Bought it from the Chinese because of currency. That's how it works.
So that's probably about the best way you can explain it. So the race to the bottom. But, the American consumer is, I don't know where we're heading with this, we've changed the world, we've changed our country, we've changed the demographics, obviously, and they want to keep going. When you have Harvard University, not only are they, don't want to hear what immigration enforcement can do to protect the borders, they don't even want you talking to them, which is the mantra of the left. They don't want to hear. They don't want us here. They don't care what we say, how we do it, whatever. They do not want us here. And ultimately, when the left takes over, and they will, the country will be completely beyond repair, and it is now. Look at Trump trying to fix it. Again, to make America great again, how about building a Ford in San Jose, California, and an iron in Ontario?
Well, that'd be great.
Yeah. Can't do. That's what he's trying to put. People don't understand.
The iron would be $249, right? And
there'd be union strikes.
The pickup would be approaching $250,000, but
you know what though? You could do it. So you could do it. Nixon. What was it you used to talk about? Nixon says, as long as you buy American.
Well, when we went off the gold standard in 1971, they knew then what was going to happen. And they were trying to convince the American public it won't. Talking about inflation, talking about debts, and all. Here we are talking about, hey, it's over $1 trillion a year we go into debt. As long as Americans buy American, everything's fine. And, of course, that went out the window. Reaganomics, and then, of course, NAFTA and GATT, right, completely destroyed that. And so now here you are. We're sitting here talking about a central bank that's got a $4 trillion balance sheet on its way to $10 trillion plus, spending $700 billion a week to give banks liquidity so your paychecks won't bounce. And they're talking about now, hey, maybe, I don't know, maybe this rate hike thing isn't the answer. Maybe we're just going to have to start selling the U.S. dollar out in the public markets to drive it lower instead. Let's try that. This is
what happens when that goes parabolic,
right?
With all this debt. Now the dollar starts crashing. They're like, oh, we got to raise rates to protect the dollar. These guys, these guys are playing with fire.
What happens when rates finally, because eventually, let's face it, eventually rates will rise eventually. I don't know when. Do we go negative before we go positive?
It's going to take a war.
Eventually the rates are going to go up, and then what happens? The central bank is going to be holding trillions and trillions and trillions of them, and when rates start rising, you start losing money on those bonds.
That's what we don't get.
Bail them out.
So we're actually talking about going to negative rates, where you have to pay banks to keep your money.
Yeah. Well, it's already happened, right? And all over Europe now.
So the same for U.S. Treasuries. That would fix the.
That would fix the. It's
would fix the national debt. It would start going down.
Right.
So
well, at least the interest payment would.
There's only so much
adding.
FSLIC and FDIC insurance out there. So then you get to the full faith and credit of the governments. So for the governments to hold your money in case of bank failures and whatnot, you're going to put it in a bond that they're going to charge you.
We're coming
again. How crazy is that?
We're coming to that currency reset. I think Lindsey Williams was probably the first guy that I remember ever talking about a currency reset. I think that's what we're going to get when we get this new electronic currency. I think that's kind of what we're looking at.
Yeah, reset or revaluation.
Revaluation, however, whatever word you'd like to use.
Or they'll change it to the Amero. We haven't talked about that in a long time.
I don't know that the Amero was ever big enough. See, Mexico and Canada, their GDPs, it's just not big enough.
Well, they got the USMCA that Mexico has signed. Canada has signed.
We're the only ones who haven't.
The only problem is our Congress won't stop trying to impeach the president long enough to sign it. So, but don't buy any gold. Okay, if I was you right now, I would put all your money into pumpkin spice coffee creamer. You can't get it. I like the
Go long.
Yeah,
Pumpkin spice.
you can't get it. I mean, you go to the Walmart or any of the stores. I don't care. Go there at 3 a.m. Every coffee creamer is there. That one's picked clean.
Not sporty spice, not scary spice.
No, but the pumpkin spice. It's it's a seasonal thing, and there's only enough pumpkins to go around. But I like pumpkin spice. But apparently everybody else does too. I've never seen anything like it. Talk about supply and demand. So anyway, I just thought I'd give you that financial tip. You could say, yeah, I heard that from. Well, we've been called Doom and Doomer this week, and Heckle and Jekyll. So, and we can take it. Believe me, we dish it out. But what's most important is you got to be able to take it. So obviously, you can take it. A lot of you people have been listening for decades. So. Anyway, the blind leading the stupid. Eric Cedars from Joe Jaquin. Final segment coming up. Yeah, I know you people are like, oh, thanks a lot, Eric. That's all we need now is more people getting pumpkin spice coffee creamer. It's hard enough to get as it is. Listen. So anyway, I got to tell you something. If you're listening on podcast, you got it on your ear, and you're walking around. You could be anywhere. You could be like 5 hours from now.
You'd be at the gym working out. You just start laughing out loud.
Apparently, this show's starting to get downloaded quite a bit, so that's all new. I've never been part of that before. But if you're in line at, say, Disney World, okay, right now, and you're listening to me, or just about any public place, and you're like, this line is way too long, okay? I'm going to help you get to the front of the line. Are you ready? Okay. As loud as you can, scream out the words, Allah Akbar. Okay? Apparently, that just cleans. Everybody runs now. So they did that at a Joker movie over the weekend. They said the entire theater emptied out. So there you have it. Just another useful tip.
Those opinions are solely those of Eric Cedarstrom and absolutely do not represent Patriot Trading Group, 1360 KHNC, or 1010 KXXT.
Just more useful.
Please consult your lawyer before doing this.
I'm just trying to help, It might be that maybe I played a little too much football in my day, and I'm a little punchy.
The CTE syndrome, is that what's happening?
You see Mark Pavlich,
He's the guy that assisted at the Miracle on Ice. He had when we beat the Russians. He made the pass that let us beat the Russians.
Right, so he was, the guy's a hero for the movie Miracle and 1980 U.S. hockey team. Apparently, he beat the crap out of his neighbor with a metal pole. And he had a good attorney. The attorney got him off going, hey, the guy's punchy from playing hockey.
Did you see when he got checked by that Russian dude? He's got CTE.
Give me that attorney's name. I might need that.
It worked.
So, anyway, 1-800-951-0592. Speaking of Allah Akbar, we got the Baghdadi guy. What's his name? I don't know.
Al-Baghdadi, the rapper.
Trump.
Yeah, he's dead now.
You got to give Trump kudos. You got to give him kudos on this. This guy was the
At least
top.
I think he's dead.
Top terrorist. The dog. You see, the dog got injured. The German Shepherd. They chased this guy. They turned the dogs loose. The German Shepherd runs the guy. The guy, shot the dog. The dog's wounded. And they don't want to put the name of the dog out. They had it, but they took it out because then you'll have the name of the handler. I mean, obviously, they killed public enemy number one for terrorist, right? That was the guy.
He's the most wanted guy in the world.
The president did it, pulled it off. The liberals, of course, hate him for it. Whatever it is, he did it wrong. But you got to give him kudos. But now, they used to have, Joe and I did it under Bush. Remember, they had, Chemical Ali. And
right, they had the playing cards.
They had playing cards that you could get.
And we were always trying to get, the ace of spades.
Right, when they were, the top card was,
I don't forget who it was, but probably Saddam. But
yeah, Saddam, that's who it was, or no, the next guy. Bin Laden. So when you got him, and there was a point factor, and the point was how many points there was going to be on the Dow Jones. I'm not making this up. The cards were in circulation.
Today, U.S. troops confirmed they killed the 3 of diamonds, the 6 of clubs, and the Jack of hearts. That's worth 125 Dow points.
And the Dow up 125 on the news. So, You know, what did we get yesterday? What did they get, 100? I don't know. I didn't see.
You know what? I don't even remember.
I still can't believe the debt's could be $23 trillion. I have been asleep, man. So, anyway, okay, everything that I told you, forget about that. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, 1-800-951-0592 is the only thing you should glean from this radio program to put away some gold and silver while you still can. Thanks for allowing me, Joe. Appreciate it. Wendy's healing out front with a bad wheel. I'm Eric Cedarstrom. I'll be back on Thursday. God bless. Bye now.